All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? New champion came out, and that champion is Azaan, and he do be looking hot. And I'm gonna be talking here about the abilities that he has. They've all been showcased in the stream. We don't know much about the cooldowns. I know that his dash has an 8-second cooldown, sort of. We know his talents. We got his cards. But let's see what we can pull out as much as information here as possible for people who did miss the showcase, unfortunately. So here it is. Basically, Frontline, 4,500 HP, which is fantastic. He has a passive ability, that little bar right there. This is called the Ire, and the Ire basically fills up when you do damage or you take damage. The more this fills up, the more benefits you get. If you reach 80%, that's when the benefits start hitting. For example, you will now, when throwing your weapon, it will do AoE damage, and some other abilities will have increased effects, like, for example, his dash, I think it makes it faster. His walls will be having more HP, like 50%, and then as well, if you use the right click with Ire above 80%, the passive above 80%, what it does, it reduces the cooldown for this ability so that you can use it more often. You can use it again. But that's the thing. Every time you use an ability, it basically will consume Ire, which means that it's not as beneficial if you want to do AoE damage with his main fire and so on. His main fire, basically a throwable hammer that he has. They're going to show us here. It can go in... It goes in a straight line, and it can go infinitely, if I'm not mistaken. It may have a range. We'll get to see that in PDS. It does 520 damage the first 2 attacks, and the third attack is actually a heavy attack that will deal 635 or something. He's going to do it right here, so I wanted to see how much damage you can pull off with that. And here he's showing that basically you can get that Ire going back up with taking damage. So now here he's going to use the hammer. He'll leave that little trail of hammers behind on walls, which is actually fantastic. Looks amazing. And after this, he's doing the damage. It was 525, I lied, sorry, and 630 for the heavy attack. He doesn't have any reloads, so obviously you just do 2 normal attacks and a heavy. Here, you can see that he's already doing this AoE because his Ire is above 80%. It's not consuming any Ire for doing this, so if you want to do that AoE at long range and so on, it's definitely going to be beneficial to just keep the Ire above and not use any abilities so you can keep that effect going on for you, you know? All right, so as for his right click, it's an ability that basically does like a T area, shaped area in front of him, and it knocks people up into the air. All right, and he's going to do it here, right here, and you see that little, there's even the symbol. You guys have probably already seen that symbol before. It's the little boosters from the ultimates on TDMs, because it's just the pyre to the symbol of the pyre. It does 300 damage, and again, if you have the Ire up as much as possible and it's above 80%, the increased effect of this ability will be reduced cooldown for the next time. All right. And then he also has his movement ability, which is F, which is basically a dash. It will push only one person in front of him, and it basically takes him with him, right? It's almost like the shoulder bash of Ashe. It doesn't have any pre-fire, doesn't have that animation or anything, but it takes people with him, one person at least, and it'll do damage. But here's the thing. Why did I say that ability before I said these walls? Because if you combine the two things, there's actually a stronger effect. There's like a 1-second stun if you hit somebody against a wall with this dash, with this F. But if you have those walls up, which is his Q, there are 5 different walls and sort of a shape of a half moon, doing like 180 degrees in front of him. Basically 90 degrees for left and another 90 degrees for right. There's 5 of them, and it has roughly 2,500 HP each wall. It has a limited time. It goes down after a while, and they can be destroyed with bulldozer, not wrecker, obviously. If you end up pushing somebody with your F against this wall, the stun lasts longer. All right, there's a thing to take attention for. I believe that it says it here on the Sanctuary. Carrying an enemy into your wall with your movement ability will deal additional damage and stun them. Okay, so I thought the stun would work on the normal wall. At least that's the effect we got to see on the stream, but I'm guessing that probably that was just some sort of a bug. All right, either way, you got a stun if you put them against your walls. If not, you can just push them and do damage. All right, so far, so good. We got a passive. We got his main fire has 2 normal attacks, 1 heavy attack. His right click lifts people up. He's going to do the dash now against the wall, which is what I'm guessing that they wanted to show here. No, they're not going to do that. Oh, and also another thing that I wanted to bring up is his passive abilities. Ire does not affect his ultimate. It only affects all of his abilities except for his ultimate. Okay, here's another thing. As you can see here, there's one of the walls that wasn't summoned, the one more into the left side. That's because there's a collision problem, so it's not going to summon it. But if there's availability, it will always summon it. In this case, you even saw one of them went on top of the stairs, and you can just walk on top of them, but you cannot go through them. So it will both block you and the enemy. I'm not sure if you can reuse the ability to cancel it like in Nara's walls. That would actually be pretty perfect. But each one of these walls have their own HP. They have to be broke individually. You have to break them individually, okay? So you cannot just break one and all of them go down. Which is going to be pretty good to both protect an entire point from various different angles, block somebody from trying to dash to the point, and etc. Oh, and if I didn't mention before, your F, your movement ability, actually allows you to go up into the sky if you want. Having max ire will make this ability faster, so that was going to be very, very, very good. All right, going on to his ultimate. His ultimate is pretty much almost like a Corvus ultimate in a way, because you go up into the sky and you have now an indicator as to where you want your ultimate to act. His ultimate, instead of Corvus, it will not just leave something in the place you selected. Instead, it will throw a fireball. In this case, I believe it's the hammer. It will throw a fireball at that place. As you can see here, you have that marker over there. It will throw the fireball there, and Azaan, goes after the hammer as well. All right, after the hammer is connected, Azaan goes after the hammer as well. It's weird to say after so many times, but it's actually how I say it. And there you go. You just throw the hammer, did all that fire damage, and did all that AoE damage, and then just went there and slammed behind it. Okay, so I believe it says here as well if it stuns or not. Rise up into the sky for 6 seconds, which means that, you know, you have a limited time. If you don't use it within those 6 seconds, you just go back into the floor. Reducing the damage you take by 50%. Fire at the ground to throw your hammer, dealing 725 damage and applying knockback on hit. Shortly after your hammer lands, teleport to it, dealing 150 additional damage and applying a large knockback area. This may not look like it, but this is a massive amount of damage. 875 plus knockback. AoE damage. You can hit a full team with this. Plus, if you are in that final point fight and you really want to go to the point and you don't have any chance and you're still far away from it, you can just use your ultimate. You become CC immune if that wasn't implied already. I'm pretty sure you do, actually. Now that I'm saying it, I'm almost certain, but I'm not. If he glows and while he's in the air, we'll pretty much be able to see that. Okay, yeah, no, he's CC immune. Okay, it's not implied here, but it's 100% sure that he's CC immune. Plus 50% damage reduction, and then you could just go right into the point, place the walls maybe, and then dash somebody against the wall to stun them, and then just proceed to lift them up into the sky. If you haven't seen, you know, a good combo for all of these abilities, here's one. You can just knock up people up into the air with your Reckoning ability, which is that T-shaped AoE sort of ability that puts them in the air, and then use your Conviction, your dash, to just yoink them in the middle of the air and take them away from a point, imagine. You can do this to bring somebody into your side, isolate them from the enemies, and then just place the walls and protect the team while you finish them off. You can even use them to lock somebody from running away. He's gonna be explored in many different ways, which is fantastic. Like, you can do this off tank, point tank. I don't know. We'll see. All right. As for skins, they also showed up skins. I wanted to show this one here. This was an early concept of this champion. This was exactly how they were initially thinking of who was going to look like, and they ended up changing it to make it a little bit look more sort of human, I'd say. This is how he was supposed to look like. As for skins, You got this skin that will be on the season pass. It's right there, it says it right there. That he loses his armor, pretty much like what Thanos does in the, you know, the first Avengers Infinite War movie or whatever, and he loses the armor, which was a big mistake by him. And then they got this one, which is actually purchasable. You can get them with gold or crystals, and if you have the season pass, obviously it's unlocked for you, which is the abyssal sort of version. That's exactly what they were looking for. And then the gold skin. And if you're asking if I'm going to grind it for this champion, let me just tell you right now, no, I'm not. I'm not going to grind the race to level 50 with gold and Azaan, or any other champion for that matter from now on, because I've already achieved what I wanted to do. We got some MVP poses and emotes. There's even one of them is going to be on the trials. Actually, it's right there, Trials of the Realm. But if you have the season pass, it will be unlocked already, I guess, which is kind of weird for me. So what does that mean? Do I not have to do the trials? I get nothing for it. So yeah, guessing that's pretty much it. As for the cards, the talents, which is actually the most important, let's just go for that. The talents, the first talent that it will be default straight away. It will be given to you straight away. It will reduce the damage you take by 5% and gain 40% lifesteal on your hits with Judgment. Okay, if you don't know what Judgment is, that is normal attack. But what I'm not understanding here, reduce the damage you take by 5% and gain 40% lifesteal on your hits with Judgment. So you can just refresh this constantly. He has a lot of DR around his cards, which I'm going to show you guys in a second, but I'm not really sure what this means. I guess we'll check it out on PDS. Doesn't matter. All right, this is level 2 talent. Will basically make your ability, the Reckoning, the ability that makes people go up into the air, your Slam, let's call it like that, will be easier, and your Sanctuary, your walls, and Conviction as well, which is his dash. They will be stronger, basically, and, you know, like, I'm guessing the effects that they have, but their cooldowns are going to rise by 50%, which means if they, for example, the dash is already 8 seconds, 50% is another 4 seconds added in, up into it, okay, so, yeah. Although this does say 40% lifesteal, remember, his damage is not that massive. You can even see a lot of people playing Ashe with 50% lifesteal, and even then it's like not the strongest thing possible, right? So I'm guessing like it may seem broken, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that broken after you look at the numbers. Level 8, basically what it does is your ire no longer decays, because that's what I was mentioned before. That's the passive. The passive, if not used, if you don't take any damage, if you don't do any damage, or if you don't use an ability, the passive will start going down on its own. So it's like the Wrath from Furia, pretty much, right? And with this talent, you don't actually have that issue. But you no longer actually get the passive damage increase while above your ire threshold, which means above 80%, you no longer have extra damages. I'm guessing this goes for every ability because the ire is actually connected to every ability except the ultimate, so you're not going to have any extra damage on your main fire, abilities, or anything of the sort. But you still get the AoE in your main fire, faster dash, the walls get more HP, and the cooldown of your slam will be reduced if you use it above 80%. So it's kind of good, but if you really want to put up more DPS, it may not be the best one. All right, as for his cards, his 4 main default, you know, armor, weapon sort of cards, this one will increase a little bit more time until your ire starts decaying, so the same thing as Furia has. Using an ability above ire threshold will now heal you, so every time that it's above 80%, you can heal yourself up to 500 HP, which could be pretty good. I mean, if you do a little bit of a management of your ire, you could potentially heal for 500 every time you use an ability above that threshold, which is going to be pretty good. This card here will heal you for every percentage point of ire consumed by abilities. So, depending on what you use, because I'm pretty sure these abilities will consume different percentages of the ire, it will heal you every time. It can heal you up to 50 every time you use an ability, which is not as strong as this one, but it's a constant healing. So you can use the ire if you're not in a fight and you're not being cauterized to just, you know, try to get that healing. What I would do is probably not use this card and just let it go out of combat, I mean, you even have an ultimate to run away. Like, the ultimate will be both good to do more damage and win a point fight. It'll be good to rush to the point in case you have to contest, or you can use it to run away. So, if anything, the ultimate seems pretty good. His dash is also pretty good because of the entire thing. You can go up into the sky as well, depending. You can even increase his dash. It's actually going to be here. You can increase the distance of that dash, which is also fantastic. So I'm guessing just that one will be good. This one, however, is actually pretty good. You can go all the way to 750. Is it 750? Yeah, 750. Wait, am I doing the math right? Yeah, it's 750. What am I thinking? You can go all the way to up to 750 extra on your 4,500 HP. So 5,250. That's pretty good. All right. As for the cards for his Reckoning, which is the Slam, you can reduce the cooldown of Conviction, which is, I believe, the dash. Yes, it is the dash. You can reduce the cooldown of your dash if you use your Reckoning with this. You can increase the duration of the Lift, the up in the air that you do to your enemies by doing the smash. You can heal for every enemy hit with your Slam, right? So your up in the air ability for the enemies. You can also reduce the cooldown of your walls by just using that ability. So these are pretty okay, nothing too crazy. Now here's where this gets crazier, because I looked at these cards and I was actually, what the hell is this? This first card will give you DR up to 20% if at least one of the walls of your sanctuary is up. So people will literally have to destroy 5 walls, or like the duration of the wall has to come to its end for you to lose this DR. You can use this and go to the other side of the map. As long as the walls are up, you got 20% DR on 4,500 HP. That is massive. Then you can also reduce the cooldown of the walls up to 3 seconds. We don't know the cooldowns of the walls, unfortunately, because on the patch notes, on the showcase, they didn't show us the cooldowns for that, unfortunately. And you can also heal for passively if at least one wall is up, right? So that's actually pretty cool. You can heal up to 60. Yes, 60. You can heal for 60 every 0.5 seconds while at least one of the walls is up. And then this one is the one that I was looking at. Now, 35. Take attention that 35 units is small. But you can give 25% damage reduction to your entire team. By saying your other allies, I'm assuming that this doesn't not apply to you. But you can give 25% damage reduction to your entire team by just standing near these walls. That's massive. There's characters that don't have DR in this game for a reason, and he can actually he can just achieve that. He can give that DR for these people as long as they stay near the walls. It's with a little bit of teamwork, this could be broken. Just a little bit of teamwork. All right, now let's go into the dash cards. You can reduce up to 20% of damage after 2 seconds after using your dash. You can reduce the cooldown of your dash up to 2 seconds. You can heal by just activating the ability. So 75 plus 75, that would be 150. So 375. You can heal up to 375 by just using your dash. And then you can increase the distance traveled as well up to 30% of your dash. Now, here's one good card now that I was looking at that. The ability, the Slam ability, which is Reckoning. This card here, if you use this card at max, right, which is going to heal you for 350. Is it 350? Actually, no. So 280. 320, I think. Something about those numbers. I'm not, my brain is not working properly right now. Sorry. But you could actually heal for each enemy hit with the Slam. And remember, with the Ire, you could have that ability ready again if you have it above 80%. It's pretty cool. That is pretty damn cool. Okay. But those are pretty much the cards. You got the skins. They didn't get to show this in game. As for voice lines, I mean, they kind of did it, but I'm not gonna lie, you could barely hear it at the start, and then all of a sudden his voice changed. I can put it up here just for a second here so we can all listen to it.
Kind of crazy where he.
There's one.
This is Romanova. These are the skins. We're just gonna pull back here because it was right at the end. Okay.
Pyre Lord, talk to us. Speak to us, Azaan. Let's...
Fire!
Okay.
I am beyond praise. I am the pyre. Yes. Attack. Ultimate is down. Stay here. Very well. Absolutely not.
I don't know what just happened there, but there's two different sort of voices. One was deeper and closer. The other one was very far away and would echo. I don't know why. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if that's going to change. I guess we're going to have to wait for PDS, but there at least we have how he sounds. And there you go. That's pretty much it for Azaan. Now I'm going to be going and try to record the entire content, the rest of the content that it's not the new champion. How about that? So, see you guys in the next one.